build to rent is here. Like build to rent is not only here, but build to rent is the way it is. So these hedge funds are buying up subdivisions. So hedge funds are buying up subdivisions to rent them out, right? Like a builder came in and said, I'm going to build single family homes. And the hedge funds are saying, screw that. I'm going to buy all your houses that were built to live in for home ownership, and we're going to rent them out. And then there's more and more duplexes you kind of see on the west side where they're building homes with small lots or shared walls and so on. And this is just build to rent is the future of real estate. So, which I think will also drive prices for single family homes. The other thing he talked about is with the way our, this new reality with COVID, with everyone, being told, okay, working from home, which we're benefiting in Arizona because people from the West Coast are moving here. It's a benefit to us as an economy. What they're also seeing throughout the country is people are willing to drive further and further out. So before, like Santan Valley, that's ridiculous. Why would I live out there? Like you have to be like struggling financially to live in Santan Valley. Now it's desirable. People are totally fine driving that extra 7 miles. Whatever they were comfortable with before, they're willing to drive 7 miles further. And so put it into perspective, in March of 2009, the average asking price in Queen Creek and Santan Valley was $207,000. You remember those times, Lisa? You would just drive through and the entire subdivision was for sale. I mean, literally more than half the houses had signs on them, now the average asking price between Queen Creek and Santan Valley is $613,000. It's crazy. So, and talking to Potter about this, Queen Creek, he says, is basically like, outside of Scottsdale, this is where you go. You got PV, Scottsdale, and then it's Queen Creek. Other interesting bits of data. iBuyers' group purchased 229 homes in November, which sounds like a lot, but this is actually a massive slowdown for them. Last year, they did 420 homes. So when the market was less active than it was in Q4, when the market was less active, it was in Q4 2020, they bought 420 homes. And so they're slowing down. So Zillow is down 11%, OfferPad is down 15%, and Opendoor is down 61% year over year as far as purchases go. So that's kind of crazy. What else? Their commissions that they're offering is down as well. So Opendoor is now offering 2.25 across the board, as is Zillow. And you guys probably already knew that, but if you guys didn't know that, that's what's happening. And they were at 2.5 for a while. And the only one that's holding the line is OfferPad. So OfferPad is at 3%. So interesting what's going on here. And then to the fun stuff. Look at our comfort index. So we're like, okay, well, it can't get any higher. I mean, 340, it's got to level up, right? We're saying like the good news, the only good news for buyers is that the comfort index is not going up anymore. Well, that's a 391. It's never hit 400 before. Prior to this year, 320 was the record. So the comfort index is 391. And again, for perspective, we were at 197 this time last year, and then 90 in 2005, but it was 300 plus in early 2005. So that's kind of crazy. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the listing count's low. So you can see here, right? So this is 2018, the orange line, the green line is 2019, it was going down. And then this is COVID. And then this is just like, again, it was just a matter of 2 months where it's like, well, the only good news is it's the supplies is the amount the supply is going down is slowing down. So 6,578. And that's just according to Crawford. I mean, you guys saw I posted this morning, we're under 3,800 around there for single family homes in Maricopa County. And there are hundreds of homes in all the cities. Not thousands, not tens of thousands, there's hundreds of homes in all the smaller cities. And lastly, as far as the index goes, you look at Gilbert, we went from 513 last month for the comfort index. We're now at 610. So Gilbert has taken the lead as far as the comfort index. Avondale dropped to a reasonable 591. Glendale went up to 552. Chandler went from 464 to 527. Queen Creek is up. Like all the cities are up. So, which makes sense, right? Because the Crawford index is going up. So, and even if you look at Avondale going down, it went down 2%. It's like it basically stayed even. So that's bizarre. That's what's going on there. And then going back to the market report. Let's see if I can do this better. Can you see just the office meeting notes? Or are you seeing the other window?
You can see the notes.
Okay, so you're just seeing this page, right? Okay. So basics as it stands today, active listing count, 7388. And the lowest I can recall, and I could be totally off base on this, at least I remember back in 2005, 2006, it went in like the 2500s. And basically when it was the 2500s, it was really no point looking at the house. You know, my realtor would say, hey, this house is for sale. It's like, all right, I'll drive by it at lunch. Hey, I'm interested. It's already sold, which I know we're all experiencing today, but it's not as bad as those times, but it's pretty darn close. So we're at 7388 versus 139 this time last year. So we're down 47% in total listings year over year and down 15% from 8,600 last month. Pending and under contract, we're at 12.3 versus 9,500 last year. So it's up 29%, but down 8% from 13,000 last month. I'm not sure that's really a big relief for anybody. Monthly sales, 9,200 versus 7,100 this time last year. So up 29%, but down 4% from 10,000 last month. Average price per square foot, we're up 15% year over year. So 208 versus 180. And that's even with the month before. Monthly median sales price, 330 versus 281. So up 17% again, year over year, but slightly down. So last month we set a new record. We came down to a reasonable 330 monthly median price. And so what's the takeaway? The supply situation has gone from bad to worse, with many areas hitting record lows for number of homes available to buy. It's not because of a low number of new listings. Actually, new listings are pretty consistent. The new listings have been reasonable for this time of year. So the supply is going down just because the demand has been asking for it. Let's see what else is there. You may wonder why the average and median prices net rise between November and October is because there was a slight mix in smaller homes. So the homes that were bought in November were smaller than homes bought in October. But the unit volume was huge, despite the fact. There seems to be some denials in some quarters. And it's interesting having these conversations with realtors and investors throughout the country. So a lot of people are concerned with the delinquency rates and forbearance that prices are going to go down. And you guys may be having these conversations with your own buyers. But there's nothing here to indicate that's going to affect us in Phoenix. So his point here is that if you look at the last time we had this crash, it was supply went up. And once supply went really high, then the prices went down. So back then, foreclosures were happening because, like, what was the point? If you're upside down, what was the point? Now, if you're in foreclosure, there is a point. There's equity. You might as well maximize your equity. And so we don't see this being a problem as far as foreclosures affecting pricing. As a matter of fact, if we have foreclosure crisis, that might actually turn us into a normal market, if you can imagine that. So we keep thinking this can't keep going. This party cannot go on. But look right here, the level of delinquency has fallen for the last 5 months. So prepayment activity is the highest since 2004. That's crazy. So we will see more distressed sales in 21 than 2020, but 2020 was actually an all-time low. Let's see what else is there. So yeah, we're not going to have a crisis like people keep talking about. The only thing that's going to drive a decline in prices is when they're in excess of supply, which we kind of see, right? That's the reason why we look at the Comfort Index. Once that 391 dips to 100, we're like, okay, we're in a normal market. If that 100 goes below that, we go to 80 or 90, that's when prices are going to start going down. So what else is there? Rental rates are also really high right now, and they continue to go really high. So it's funny. I had a friend in Toronto reach out to me. It's like, hey, you know, with all this crisis, you know, our rent's going to go down with the moratorium eviction occurring. The reality is, if someone gets evicted, you got 20 people ready to rent tomorrow. So even with a moratorium, like, we're not going to see rental rates going down. Even with the moratorium expiring, we're not going to see rental rates go down.